The killer of the Essex teenager Dinah McNichol has dropped an appeal against his sentence for the murder of another teenager. Peter Tobin is serving life for murdering 3 young women, including 18-year-old Dinah, who vanished in 1991. Tobin had been challenging a 30-year sentence for killing 15-year-old Vicky Hamilton.
The opening of a new wing at Broomfield Hospital in Chelmsford has been delayed for a second time because of faulty lifts. The 4-storey building can't open until they're working properly. The new wing will house a maternity unit, A&E services and other wards. It was originally due to open in September, but hospital staff say it will now stay closed until early November.
The artist behind a controversial sculpture on the Suffolk coast has written a book charting its story.
Artist Maggie Hambling created the scallop shell on Aldeburgh Beach 7 years ago as a memorial to the town's most famous son, the composer Benjamin Britten. Laura Burns went to meet her.
It makes visitors to Aldeburgh look tiny. A 15-foot, 6.5-ton sculpture rising out of the shingle. As you approach the beach, you see this side. And those intrigued enough walk round to see this one.
Well, I thought it was very nice, something to see.
I think it's a good idea to do something like that over here.
It is a bit isolated, yes, but it's there for a purpose, and the purpose is good.
That's the sort of reaction local artist Maggie Hambling thought that she would get.
It was a gift to Aldeburgh to celebrate who must be their greatest son. And so when, I thought it was rather rude, really, the reaction of some people to this present, and it was a huge shock to me.
It was put up in 2003 in tribute to Suffolk composer Benjamin Britten. But within 2 months, vandals struck, and more than 800 people signed a petition to move it. But local councillors decided it should stay. Attacks on the artwork continued over the next few years. But this didn't stop Maggie from winning a national award. And now she's written a book to chart the full history of the work. This includes anecdotes about its opponents, including a woman who was passing by the day before it was officially unveiled.
"Oh my God," she said, theatrically, hand to forehead. "Oh my God, I hoped it was going somewhere far less conspicuous than this. How dreadful." And she retreated muttering back across the shingle to her car.
But this wasn't even meant to be controversial. In fact, the subtitle of the work is A Conversation with the Sea. And the whole idea was that people would come here and sit here in the middle of the sculpture. They could then look out onto the waves, relax and contemplate. As for Maggie, the book's made her reflect on her Suffolk childhood, as well as the ups and downs of the last 7 years. And if her writing's anything like her art, it's bound to raise interest and a few eyebrows. Laura Burns, Anglia News, Aldeburgh in Suffolk.
I'm sure. The Ministry of Defence is warning people about the dangers of straying onto a live firing range at Colchester. A new security fence has been built around the range off Mersey Road. But the MOD says if people walking there see red flags flying or red lamps lit, they must not go beyond those signals.
Sound advice. Right, let's have some sport now. And goals were hard to come by for most of our teams in the Football League at the weekend.
Yeah, mind you, while Ipswich, Norwich and Colchester and Southend produced 1 between them, Peterborough conceded 4 and finished up as winners. Donovan Blake rounds up the action.
Football is often about responding to setbacks, and that was certainly the case for Norwich's Wes Houlihan. He had the perfect opportunity to put Championship leaders Queen's Park Rangers on the back foot on Saturday after Norwich won a penalty, but he couldn't take it. Manager Paul Lambert, however, was pleased Houlihan didn't let the miss affect him.
He never wilted and never hid from the ball. And as I said, Wes Houlihan, since I've been here, has been sometimes sensational for me. We played really well and we had to defend when we had to, but also we created chances.
The goalless draw keeps Norwich in 3rd, while Ipswich stumbled at home for the 2nd time this season. Former Colchester striker Clive Platt scored the opener for Coventry, and Town were 2 down by the time Jason Scotland scored what turned out to be their consolation goal. Not a great return after the international break.
You're always worried when players go away international level what exactly they're doing, whether they're training, with their travelling. I know a lot of them on a Tuesday after a game would go on to drink pretty much for a day or two, and so you're always worried when they come back.
Chances were at a premium for Colchester at Oldham in League One, but they earned a point in a goalless draw and were thankful that the assistant referee ruled out this goal for offside. Makes you wonder if Peterborough boss Gary Johnson would like a 0-0 now and again after another goalfest at London Road. Posh led Swindon 3-0 and 4-3, but they finally won 5-4 following Kevin Amankwa's own goal. In contrast, there was little to excite Southend manager Paul Sturrock in League Two. He described his team's display against Crewe as passionless as they slumped to a 2-0 home defeat. Donovan Blake, Anglia News.
Now then, they organise arguably the most prestigious schools rugby tournament in the country. And today, staff and players at St Joseph's College in Ipswich are celebrating after actually winning it. It's the first time in 15 years that St Joseph have won the National Schools Festival. They beat Campbell College from Northern Ireland in the final. And also, they had the England Under-18s international Alex Day named as player of the tournament. Well done to them all.
Now, do you know your .coms from your /?
Well, if not, you're not alone. 17% of people living in our region have actually never used the internet.
But help is at hand. Today is the start of Get Online Week, which aims to make the World Wide Web a less terrifying place. Ellie Price reports.
Yes, you just yes. Oh, I see. Yes, if you...
85-year-old Peggy shows her friend Vera what the internet's all about. Peggy is one of the growing number of older people who uses the web. She says it was hard at first, but worth it.
Difficult. I do think it's difficult. When you're older, it's very much difficult. It's not like when you're young, you know, you're brought up with it, aren't you? But it is quite difficult. But once you've got it, it's not so bad. Well, I suppose it gets more, I think it's going to get more important as life goes on. We sort of get left behind. We haven't got a computer.
Learn how to play the guitar. But it's not just elderly people who are struggling to travel the information superhighway. The Benjamin Foundation has just launched a new centre in Great Yarmouth to help homeless young people learn how to use the web.
It's really important that our young people here have the opportunity to access the internet, because they need to access the internet because of training opportunities, employment opportunities and education opportunities. Without the internet, that becomes a real barrier to access those opportunities.
You can use it for music, for social networking, for research, for college, anything really. It is very important to a young person to be able to get onto the internet.
9 million people around the UK have never used the internet. That's a staggering figure when you think that 90% of all new jobs require a basic level of internet skill, and half of all leisure and travel bookings are now made online. Great Yarmouth Learning Centre is one of the many places in our region which is hosting Get Online Week. With 1 in 6 people in the East having never used the internet, they say anyone hoping to get involved shouldn't be nervous.
The simple fact is that we get so many people come in who have never used a computer before, and they're really in good company in the fact that they can do learning with other people who haven't had that experience either.
As part of Get Online Week, there'll be events around our region till Friday and beyond. It's hoped the majority of the 750,000 people in the East who are not online will find it easier to take that first big step and get connected. Ellie Price, Anglia News.
And, of course, one of the online delights awaiting you is our website.
Oh, of course.
You can watch items from the programme and get lots of extras like our weekly catch-up.
There you can find out any of last week's online items, or if there's something you particularly like, perhaps, you can watch it again. Yeah, that's at www.itv.com/ do you want to do that slash again? /Anglia.
Now, she's the primary school teacher from Luton who made it to the last few weeks of X Factor.
Yeah, Beverley Trotman didn't reach the final 3 years ago, but that hasn't stopped her pursuing her passion for singing.
She's juggling teaching with performing around Europe and recording her first album.
And now she's been nominated for Best Gospel Act in the Music of Black Origin Awards known as the Mobos. Bhavani Vadi went to catch up with her.
Who has used full stops in their writing?
Beverley Trotman went back to her day job after the X Factor catapulted her into the limelight 3 years ago. But the contest gave her a platform. Since being knocked out, she has performed at the Royal Albert Hall, starred in Fame and sang at a host of stadiums across Europe. And 1 year after releasing her debut album, Beverley has been nominated for a Mobo. So what if she wins?
I will bring it back to school and I will show the whole school, and then I'll buy the whole school a massive box of chocolates and a massive chocolate cake so that we can all celebrate together.
album Voice of Hope gives gospel music a contemporary edge and earned her the nomination for Best Gospel Act. She'll be swapping her classroom for glitz and glamour when she attends the Mobos in Liverpool later this week.
It's just incredible. In the same place as Alicia Keys and Tidy Temper, I'm going to see all of these people on Wednesday. It's just going to be amazing. I haven't quite sorted out my outfit because I've been so busy at school, but I will be on the red carpet with all of these different people, and I'll be waving at Caddington Village School.
And her pupils are keeping their fingers crossed for her.
She's very talented and she has a lot of... She's really funny. I think Mrs. Trotman is great at singing and I hope she wins the award. I think she deserves it and she's a really good singer and I'm very lucky to have her as a teacher.
Beverley is tipping Matt Cardle, who's from Essex, to win this year's contest.
He's great. Matt Cardle is great. Great falsetto voice. Yeah, he's a dark horse.
But Beverley's proof that you don't have to win the X Factor to follow your dreams. Bhavani Vaddy, Anglia News, Caddington near Luton.
Oh, it's really good to see Mrs. Trotman again, isn't it?
Doing so well.
Right, the news hour continues after us. Here's a look at what the national team have for you.
Yeah, that's all coming up. Well, Amanda's here. Glorious blue skies over the weekend. And a bit of heat as well in that sun. A little bit.
There was, but it was certainly very cold overnight. In fact, Santon Downham and Suffolk, Woburn in Bedfordshire barely stayed above freezing.
Is it going to get any warmer this week?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say it was going to get warmer, but temperatures will certainly improve as we go towards the end of the week. But before we get there, we have got a fairly cold snap to come. Now, if I just show those of you at home this chart here, you can see the cold air sitting over Scotland now. As the isobars squeeze together, the winds will become stronger, which will help the cold air travel southwards down the country, making it feel more like winter than autumn. So make sure you put those extra layers on. Right, let's get the rest of the details.
Anglian Home Improvements, sponsors of Anglia Weather.
Thanks for the Facebook postings on the nuclear story. You can head there as well for us and also join in the debate if you want to.
Yeah, thanks for watching this evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you then.